You guys remember this video we did over the weekend of the big old giant NOCTUA cooler that came out on the Asus card? So we had a pretty overwhelming amount of people going, you should modify it in some way, put different fans in there, put it on a different card. So today we're gonna kind of try to do both of those. We're gonna see if we can't get this to fit on our 3080 Tough, which looks like it's fairly similar PCB. And we're going to, well, change out the fans to, well, you'll just watch and find out. Today's video is sponsored by me and these 3 graphics cards we're giving away. You can't see them because they're not actually here right now. Why? Because I want you to click the link down in the description below to see exactly what cards they are. Worldwide, for free, anywhere in the world where giveaways are not prohibited. So if you want to learn all about which cards we're giving away and how to enter and when it ends and all that sort of stuff, then you're gonna have to pause this video, click the link, and go and enter. Don't wait, you'll be sad if you did. You know, like Wayne Gretzky said, the only shot you miss is the one you take and you didn't 100% do. So I have no idea how this comes apart. So I'm using my trusty iFixit kit to sort of get in here and start tearing it down. These are all Torx. I still think this amount of cooling looks really good on the 3070 because 3070s are not a high power card versus 80s, which are 320 watt, and 90s, which are 350 watt minimums there. So one of the things we talked about too is how other coolers, when they don't tie in, so you can see they tie in there and they tie in on the back, which that itself is gonna severely help with sag. I'm also not keeping track of what screw goes where because, you know, that's for noobs. People ask me all the time, Jay, how do you know how this stuff comes together? Or comes together and goes apart? I don't. I just unscrew stuff and then it just falls apart and I go, oh, that's how it works. So it's actually just taped down in the center. I love that this product uses 2-sided tape to hold something on there, which is something we would do. So that's it, really super basic cooler. It's just giant heatsink, as you can see. And then it's completely independent from this. So you know what that means? Since they held it on with 2-sided tape, so can we. I'm not gonna do this because it'll burn out the board, but they are standard fan headers that go to a little header that then converts it to this plug. I'm not gonna do that. It'll burn up the board, I guarantee it, because these fans use 0.14 amps, whereas these use 1.6 amps. How many NOCTUAs does one Delta pull? 11.42 NOCTUAs per fan. I just double-sided taped in our Delta fans. You can still see our damage from our carrots, where it actually chewed the edges of the blades up a little bit. That's okay, a little carrot in here never hurt anybody. This fan might hurt somebody. Remember, science is just a series of failures. So my channel is science. I still love how they're like, you need center support. We'll even watch a Jay's 2 cents, you know, pull out the Gorilla Tape, that'll work. So they clearly aren't gonna reach the holes, right? Nick, get the packing tape. This is the true measure of professional install right here. Look, this is insurance, okay? I don't want this flying off on us while it's at full speed here, okay? Look at that. I mean, it's like almost a whole nother slot thicker. It's nearly a 5-slot card. Look, we got one little slot left in there. I say little because it's only a 4X, but still. I'll put this bag on top of it that actually has paper in it. So that when I turn it on, you just see it go or go get sucked into it. I don't know which way it's gonna go. Oh my God. The amount of airflow, that is really dangerous.
Yeah, I was about to say.
So it's idling at 21. It was at 22 when we had our overclock applied, but now it's at 21 degrees Celsius at idle.
Oh, but it's idling at ambient. It's literally ambient.
So I can sit here all day long, I ain't gonna go any lower.
20.6 degrees in here.
Okay. We've created the world's first ambient air-cooled GPU. We usually needed...
No, he didn't. Every GPU's an ambient.
Shut up. The internet doesn't need to know that. I just wish the voltage would stay at the 175 or 184. Dude, I could feel the airflow underneath the chassis down here. It's like pushing down and then going through these holes still, and like I could feel it under here. It's crazy. The funny thing is, like, it's not any cooler. I mean, we were at like, what, 45 to 47 before? It's exactly the same temperature in here as it was the day we filmed this too, by the way. That's important to note. It's not any colder, it's not any warmer. It's exactly the same because that's what the thermostat's set to.
Lower your temps 2 degrees for an extra 50 decibels.
The crazy thing about this though is at the very least we showed you could, if you wanted, to change the fans to the black Noctua fans if you wanted. The only difference is the fan's cable links are exactly measured and cut to where they'll fit into the little adapter that's in the shroud. But it's a 4-pin PWM adapter on there, and you could run any standard 12 volts on there. You could just zip tie up the cables out of the way and plug them into that header, and you could change them to the black Noctua fans if you wanted, which in my opinion, this looks way better with the black than the Noctua brown tan. All right, 44C, 2190, oh, 1.093 for a moment there. Look at that. But we're still voltage limited because look, we're not even hitting the 114 or whatever that we set it to. So the one thing we didn't do is, like I said, we need to see now if maybe our limitation here was the thermal paste. So we've cleaned off the original thermal paste. I'm gonna use my Kingpin thermal paste. This, we have seen drop temperatures several degrees. So I'm gonna do a pre-application or pre-spread of it. Oh, Jesus, okay, that just a little bit. Once it starts flowing, man, I tell you. No, this doesn't introduce air. Any air that would have gotten caught in there will squish out. Just chill the F out. We're back together with our super heavy duty mounting tape. It's gonna come down a degree maybe too if the thermal paste is what was actually limiting the transfer. Not entirely sure if that's the case. So now we wait. We're already at 42, which tells me we're gonna hit 43, which tells me we didn't have any, there's 43. So thermal paste was not our limiting factor. At this point, it's probably just the design of the cooler. It doesn't need to handle a 3080 or 3090 worth of total board power worth of cooling. Well, I guess the GPU worth of cooling, and then anything else touching the heatsink. Like the VRMs do touch the heatsink on this, so VRMs are adding heat to it. There's 44. It might actually be slightly worse at the start because it does take time for the thermal paste to actually spread and cure. The hotter the thermal paste gets, the more it'll spread, the thinner it'll get, and then the better your temps get. There is actually a cure time of your thermal paste. So there you go, guys. At the end of the day, the cooler is awesome. It works really well in the 3070. Can't test it on 3080 because the mounting is wrong. You could change these fans out to the black Noctuas if you wanted, or any other 120 millimeter fan because they do use the standard 4-pin PWM headers. These are just custom links to fit in that shroud without any excess. That's the only thing different. These are exact same fans you would find with other Noctua coolers or case fans, which means you could put a different case fan in here if you wanted. But that's kind of besides the point, considering the whole reason this thing exists is because of the amazing cooling capability of the Noctua fans at their noise ratio. I mean, come on, we just hit 45 because again, our thermal paste is taking time to cure. It just dropped again. This is stupid. You would never do this. There's no benefit to it, and it's loud, and it's only 3C colder than these were giving. And these were nearly like inaudible. In fact, you wouldn't be able to hear them in a case at all if you look at our original video. All right, you guys asked, put some crazy fans in there, and we did, and you know what? It didn't do jack sh. So, there you go, guys. Thanks for watching. Your suggestion made it into a video that taught you absolutely nothing. That's what J-Tober's all about.